You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun of the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. And I can play this song because he probably remembers it. You're definitely going to be old enough to remember this one, right? He's not going to even let us know.
We don't Welcome back.
Welcome back, Sgt Bob Conklin. Welcome.
Welcome, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by, and I don't have the sound ready.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, we do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And, I might have to add that. So if you want to comment or got questions for the radio program today, StreamYard.com/Facebook, StreamYard.com/Facebook. So we actually can say hello to you. But we do have a Facebook user that does have a suggestion for my opening. This is a show, no boundaries. So you're like an IRS agent. Yeah, or an FBI agent. Just throw that out there. I don't know. We'll get there. Let's see what we're going to celebrate today. What are we celebrating today? National Airborne Day. I guess I better put on my mask for that one. Oh, no, I'm not going to use masks. We don't do that anymore. Roller Coaster Day. That one is never going to be for me. Tell a Joke Day. I don't know about that one. So, we might just have to go to National Rum Day. Bacardi. I think Bacardi's a rum, isn't it? So Bacardi and Coke. That used to be a good one. Captain Morgan. Does that qualify? I know it's a spiced rum. So, yeah, that might work as well. But being that there's nothing that exciting to celebrate today, tomorrow's even worse. I want to see what our team comes up with for tomorrow because it's probably the worst day of the year for anything to celebrate. Congressional Startup Day, right? I mean, maybe if we leave the people in Congress home, we might have better success because I know that the president told us last week that inflation is at zero, and he's got this inflation creation bill. I guess it means he wants to create inflation because it's not. How do you reduce inflation when it's already at zero? Maybe it's because he knows it's not at zero and he was lying to us. I just throw that out there. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets today. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 242 points. S&P 500 is up 11.34. NASDAQ is down 13. Oil's down $2.30 a barrel. So we're watching that. When I told you when I ran it through our calculator yesterday, that predicts $3.95 or forecasts $3.95 a gallon of gasoline. Not in California. That might be a national number. Right now we're at $3.95 a gallon on the national side. Here in California, we're still at $5.35 a gallon. Ow! Yeah, Josh, you're at $4.93, going down a little bit more. Jody's at $4.10, and Lori's still the winner. She's at $3.50 a gallon. Well, maybe not. I've got the wrong state. $3.54 a gallon is where Lori's there in Louisiana. $3.54. Guess they don't have to have the tax levels that we do, the wasting of the money. Have you managed this? Have you watched this? I'm listening and watching to the governor lately. And I know I do it just for you. I don't want to listen to him either. But the issue is We've got this $90 billion surplus in the state of California. Do you know, I think he's probably spent about 120 of that 90 billion. I mean, how many things can he do with 90 billion? He's giving money back to people that'll vote for him. He's got now he's got a homeless initiative. He's got a water initiative. Why don't you just stop diverting the water out of the ravines we have now into the San Francisco Bay? We'll have no water problem at all. Although here in Orange County, don't tell anybody. I know it's just you and I talking right now. We don't have a water shortage in Orange County. Our water table's at about 85% is the last numbers I heard. 85% of capacity. So why is that? Well, think about it. We've got the desalination plant down in South County. Yeah, they don't want to create another one up in Huntington Beach. But then they've got the reclamation plant up in Huntington Beach. So we've got plenty of water. But, they don't want to tell anybody that because it's probably not good for the governor. Sexiest listener I have. I'm not even going to go there. And another Biden fan. This is Joe Biden, and my wife leaves me Post-it notes to remind me to do things. I just heard the First Lady, then not a joke, the First Lady did test positive for COVID today. So who's going to help the president put his jacket on for the next week? I know that there's a problem there, but that's a whole different story. Let's move right along and see what else is going on in the news. We've got some interesting topics to cover today, but what else is going on in the news? Hey, have you been getting any of those? I don't know if they still do them. I haven't got them in a while. The postcards from Bed Bath & Beyond, that gives you 20% off. My mom used to have a whole stack of those things in her car. I don't know why she saved them, but it was just one of those things. Well, stock market not too excited with Bed Bath & Beyond right now. Another analyst says to sell them. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, Redfin. So Redfin came out with the report. I'm going to share that one with you. And it's very, very housing related. So Redfin, they came out with a report and they're telling us that 2018, 2019, that was the last time we really had any significant interest rate increases. Well, 2019, only 10% of the homes on the market had bidding wars. Now, right now, 44% of the homes sold in bidding wars with an average of 3.5 offers per property. That was for the month of July. Why do I bring this up? Well, because some of the lame people in the news keep saying that the housing market is going to crash. But when you've got this much demand and supply is not there, well, you don't even have to go to Chapman University to find out that that's not a recipe for a housing crash. When you've got a shortage of supply and excess demand, prices continue to increase. And that's why we're still seeing so many properties that are having bidding wars out there. So not even like going back to 2010 when you had the housing crash, but right now, 3.5 offers per property for the month of July. Now, if you're a regular listener of Ron Siegel Radio, I've shown you how to win those bidding wars. It's pretty simple. Offer the seller more money than he wants for the property, and then ask him to use a little bit of that to help you with the interest rates. You're going to come out way, way ahead. If you're watching any of our social channels, especially Ron Siegel Radio, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, you're actually seeing in a lot of ways how to save. I think we've done anything, Josh, $140,000 to $303,000. I think we've showed people how to save by paying a seller more money than he wants and asking for a portion of that back to help with the interest rates. We're going to talk about that and more. Grant Cardone. Do you know who Grant Cardone is? Big time. He's a self-made, might even be a billionaire. And he's got boatloads of real estate. But he came out with this report or a story that says, don't buy a home unless you can afford to waste money. There was another one that I saw that actually said, if you're stupid, buy a house. Wonder how many houses he has. We're going to talk about all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. but the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Got a comment here that I want to get back to. Steve Widener. Housing in South Orange County are dropping and inventory building quickly. I feel that many people paid way over values due to demand and will be sorry. Steve, can you give me one zip code? I don't know why it doesn't show up that we weren't able to post back to LinkedIn. Can you give me one zip code? And I want to look at that up and see what kind of stats we might have on that. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The S&P 500 now up 11.84. Let's see if I've got the numbers here. The 10-year Treasury, that's what's been driving the mortgages right now, is up 5 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities down 20 basis points, which means rates are up a bit this morning. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Yesterday, mortgages locked, 30-year conforming loan locked at 5.37, down about 5 basis points. The jumbos locked at 5.136. The 30-year FHA, 5.307. The USDA loans for those in our rural areas, 5.32. And the best loan on the market for those who earned it, that would be the VA loan, 30-year loan, 5.025. Good. Why? You can get all that information if you know where. Why is it happening, though? Well, we're just looking at various data here. Maybe you want to rent. Well, CoreLogic's June rental index showed that rental increases moderated slightly on a year-over-year basis from 13.9 to 13.2. 13.2, that's still a pretty hot increase. New construction, housing starts in July were down almost 10% to 1.45 million unit pace, worse than the 2.5% decline expected. Starts are down 8% year-over-year. Single-family starts, which are most important, were down 10% last month at 916 million unit pace. They're now 18.5% they're down 18.5% year over year. So while interest rates are higher and demand is lower, supply is still tight. Slowing new construction and supply we're seeing is going to hurt the economic activity, but from a price standpoint will be somewhat supportive as demand is declining, so is supply. Housing permits, that's the future, down 1%. last month at a 1.67 million unit pace, but single family were down more significantly, dropping by 4% last month to 928,000. I think we're still getting older. Kids still want to buy a new house at some point in time, I hope. So we're a lot of information there. That's the Mortgage Minute for you, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So one of my favorite events all year long is coming up. And we're going to talk to, what do they call you? One of the chair people? Is that how they refer to you at the event? Or gophers, grunts, some of everything?
I'm sure there are a lot of titles, but yeah, no,
he's the man. We'll just call him the man. So from the Anaheim Police Department and Cops for Kids.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you, Ron.
So I guess before we get into Anaheim Confidential, which is one of the great events of the year, tell us a little bit about Cops for Kids.
So Cops for Kids is a nonprofit hosted by the Anaheim Police Department. Our goal is to mentor and coach teenagers, basically, and it's geared for success. So whatever career path, whatever academic path they choose, we try to make sure that they get there. Teenagers, Ron, we both have had them. These are the most impressionable adolescent years of their life. If we don't get them in the right direction, on the right page, and help do some course corrections here and there, then we as a society in general could have some challenges down the road. So our goal is to take this group of kids and make sure that they're set on the right path. And one of the ways that we do that is make sure that they understand how they can lead each other, their ability for leadership. We want them to influence their core social groups on social media, their friends, their sports teams. We want them to help influence them to make right decisions. So although we have a small core group within the Anaheim Police Department that we meet with weekly, we want their influence to be exponential in just teenagers in general making the right decisions.
So how long are these young people with you? As far as, per day or per year?
Yeah. No, this is a nonstop year-round program. Basically, we want to wrap our hands around these kids when they turn 13, get into 7th grade, and we don't let go until they turn 21.
Wow. So they're going to be with you for 8 years.
This is a long-term relationship. We meet every week, every Wednesday night at the police department. And throughout the year, we make sure that they are engaged. So we have recreational, occupational, professional, cultural excursions throughout the year. We take them on camping trips, Knott's Berry Farm. Well, up until lately, but places like
they
that.
might not be able to go to Knott's Berry Farm because what is it? One adult for every 2 minors or something now?
Something like that. And
maybe you guys can get an exemption. I don't know. They might.
Yeah, we have a busload. So, but even the beach. Here we are in Southern California, 20 minutes from the beach, and some of these kids have never been there. And our job is to expand their horizons, let them know that there's an entire world out there with dozens of opportunities that they're to experience. And we want to make sure that they avail themselves to those.
That's pretty amazing. Something I just heard you say there, we take a lot for granted, but I mean, kids that are in Anaheim that have never been to the beach.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. We take for granted how blessed many of us are.
Right. And some of these kids, we take them on excursions out of state, like I said, camping, these kinds of things. But, a lot of these kids have never been outside of Orange County. So, it reminds us of how fortunate some of us are. But we want to be able to share that with the community and those kids that don't necessarily have those resources.
Is the program exclusively for those that are, have the short resources, or do you have others in there as well? Or is it all just more are you really geared or focused on underprivileged?
No, great question. So we have recently over the last 6 months kind of spread our wings a little bit, And we've reached out from the west end all the way to the east end of Anaheim. We have kids participating in the program from across all 9 high schools, across 7 school districts, all the way from, not in Lincoln out on the west end of Anaheim, all the way to the east end out in Anaheim Hills. So we've extended our reach significantly, and that's our role, is to grow the program as much as we can and get that sphere of influence out.
That's great. And so you're going and doing these activities you mentioned, and do they do the non-aggressive type of not aggressive but non-confrontational police work as well? Do they help, not policing, but maybe like we see people out doing crowd control and things like that? Are they helping in that capacity as well?
So these kids, it's part of the Anaheim Police Department's, one of our primary missions is to enhance community relationships. And these kids do that for us. It's all volunteer work. We all know that colleges now, or basically any program after high school, they need volunteerism. They need those volunteer hours to help build up their resume. These kids volunteer hundreds of hours every year to represent us at our community events. Without them, the Anaheim Police Department at many of these events wouldn't even have a presence. So, they come in on their off days, and we 100% thank their parents, because this would not happen. Most of our kids can't drive yet. So the parents have to bring their kids to all these events, sometimes 4:30 in the morning for some of these marathons, which I don't do. But yeah, the volunteer work, 365 days out of the year, they help us. So we want to make sure that, they get the most out of our program.
How's the program funded?
The program is funded straight from donations and grants. We partner with a couple other nonprofits so that we can bring in some resources that we can't provide. For example, how to prepare for a job interview, how to prepare college resumes. What are some financial options available to us if college is a route we want to take after high school? We bring in those resources to help teach these kids. Our goal is not to make these kids police officers. Our goal is not to make sure that they find a career in law enforcement. Our job is to make sure that they are successful in whatever career path they choose. So
it's not a farm system.
No, it absolutely not. I mean, probably if you look at the stats, maybe 1% of these kids might get involved with some field in some career field in law enforcement, but that is not our goal. Our goal is to make sure these kids are on the right path and to give them the tools that perhaps a lot of their families don't have access to. Give them the tools that they need to be successful. That is the goal. But donations, grants, and the one big fundraiser that we have is the Anaheim Confidential.
So let me, I bet Josh is going to yell at me. So I'm going to say, okay, so we're going to, when we come back, I guess we're going to talk about Anaheim Confidential, because it's a great event. I love it. I've gone, I don't know how many years in a row. Not in a row. I guess not in a row. I've gone to as many as there's been.
Yes.
Because we did, as like everything, we had to take a little bit of a hiatus in there.
Mm-hmm.
But we went. I think we went last year, and then it was 2-3 years ago before that.
Yes.
Great event. We're going to talk about that when we come back. We're going to talk about Grant Cardone saying, "Don't buy a house unless you want to waste money." I don't think I agree with him. I think I might be able to numerically prove he might be misleading us a little bit. What would a recession mean for the housing market? All that and more. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. What would recession mean for the housing market? According to a recent survey from the Wall Street Journal, the percentage of economists who believe we'll see a recession in the next 12 months is growing. When surveyed in July 2021, only 12% of economists consulted thought there'd be a recession by now. But this July, when polled, 49% believe we'll see a recession in the coming 12 months. We're already there. And as more recession talk fills the air, one concern many people should have is, should I delay my homeownership plans if there's a recession? Here's a look at historical data to show what happened in real estate during the previous recessions to help prove why you shouldn't be afraid of what a recession would mean for the housing market today. A recession does not mean falling housing prices. To show that home prices don't fall every time there's a recession, it helps to turn to historical data. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our social channels, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, Josh is showing you a screen right now that shows the history of recessions going back to 1980. And real estate goes up in recessions almost all the time. 1991, it went down 1.9%, but in 80, it went up. 81, it went up. 2001, it went up. 2020, it went up. And in 2008, I'm going to share with you, the recession was caused by real estate going down. Real estate didn't go down because of a recession. We can talk about that more on a different day. Most people remember the housing crisis in 2008. The larger of the two red bars, again, if you're watching us, think another recession would repeat that happened then. But this housing market isn't about to crash. The fundamentals are very different today than they were in 2008. Don't assume we're heading down the same path. A recession means falling mortgage rates. Research also helps paint the picture of how a recession could impact the cost of financing a home. Again, chart on the screen. Interest rates drop during a recession actually every time so far, going back to 1980. So Fortune explains that mortgage rates typically fall during an economic slowdown. Quote, over the past 5 recessions, mortgage rates have fallen an average of 1.8 percentage points from the peak seen during the recession to the trough, and in many cases, they continue to fall after the fact, as it takes some time to turn things around, and even when the recession is technically over. While history doesn't always repeat itself, we can learn from it and find comfort in historical data. Bottom line, if there's no doubt everyone remembers what happened to the housing market in 2008, but you don't need to fear the word recession if you're planning to buy or sell a home. According to historical data, in most recessions, home prices have stayed strong and mortgage rates have declined. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or borrowing on real estate, can I count on you to introduce us? That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make a call, 800-306-1990. So during the break, Steve Widener put a comment on LinkedIn for us, and thank you for sharing that. that he's been in real estate a 400-year agent. I think he means 40 years. 40 years in real estate. Sat at an open house over the weekend. Gave me a couple of zip codes. So he gave me Ladera Ranch. Just a couple of numbers for Ladera Ranch. Median list price $1.9 million. Median new listings are $1.649 million. Average days on the market is 32. Here's the biggie, and it's right on normal, is the number of properties that have price decreases have been 33%. Historically, nationwide, property price reductions are 33%. Anaheim Hills right now is about 45%. Price reductions, 33%. Median rent, $5,200 a month on the rent there. He also gave me the zip code for 92679. Boy, Steve likes the nice neighborhoods here. Median price, $2.4 million. Average days on the market, 85. Median days on the market, 42. Price decreases, about half. 48% of the properties have taken a price decrease, taken them off the market and relisted 3%. Rent there, $6,250 a month. So give you an idea of what the market's doing. And we have this for every zip code you might want. So if you want to get any zip code in the country, Josh, do you have that? What is it? Do you have the link for the zip codes where we get those reports? I know we put them up on our Facebook page every day for different reports. I think we've got Anaheim up there, or Yorba Linda up there right now. Go to rsrlistana.com, rsrlistana.com. You'll see the Anaheim report, but you can put in any zip code you want, rsrlistana.com. Going to continue our conversation. Sgt Bob Conklin is with us. We were talking about Cops for Kids before the break. It's a great organization doing a lot of real good things for the kids. And in the past, I know we didn't get into it in the last segment, but you've had a lot of real success stories of some of the young people in the organization. And I know I think you share a few of them at Anaheim Confidential, where you've got some of the young people that are there, and you talk about the ones that are going to college or going and becoming, and I'm not a big fan of college right now. There's a lot of the colleges are way overpriced. And if you watch Mike Rowe, he actually shows that there's a lot of people that are doing jobs today they could do without college and not have the expense of college. So you got to look at those things. But I guess my whole world is, because I've got one child, 3 boys, one went to college, 2 didn't. And our whole goal is, they've got to be good citizens. It's more important than just a college education.
Yeah, no, we got to make sure that they get there and
Right.
they get there safely and have all the tools that they need. You talk about, college being expensive. I get it. My daughters are reaching that point, and so one of the things that we've been able to offer with the success of Anaheim Confidential are academic scholarships for these kids. So we offer, I think, in partnership with You Run This Town Foundation, 8 or 9 $1,000 academic scholarships for these kids. So, we are doing everything that we can to make sure that when we let the leash go, when we send them off into that sophomore, junior year in college, that they have all the resources they need. And that's the point of the fundraiser.
Yeah. And you look at something like that, $1,000 scholarship doesn't sound like much, but that's almost your full tuition over at Santiago College or some of the other places where it's a great start for the young people.
Yes. And it's not limited to that. We had one of our explorers a couple years ago, earned 2 of them at the same time. Very selfish of her, but she did it.
She earned it.
She earned it 100%. And that's what we try to do.
So let's talk about Anaheim Confidential, because I love this event.
Yeah. Anaheim Confidential, basically our phenomenal homicide detectives get up on stage and talk about one of their cases from beginning to end, everything from the initial call, when the patrol officers respond. You'll probably see some actual body worn camera footage. The case they presented last year, the body worn camera footage from the officers and what the audience saw during the presentation, it was disturbing. It was hard.
I'll say
it was disturbing. So, you're looking at a homicide investigation. We're not going to reveal exactly what it is until the night of.
And we try. We ask them all the time how many, what's going on, and give us a hint, and but, then maybe we can Google it, but they won't give us anything.
No, and this one's, the one last year had a little more popularity, but this one, it's one of those
tough word to use there when you're talking about a homicide. A little more popularity.
Yes, more popularity. But this one, this one kind of, wasn't publicized much, and it's not only for the kids, but it's also a chance for us to showcase the hard work of the Anaheim Police Department, but also remember the victims. And that's one of the things that Anaheim Confidential does, is some of the fundraising goes toward the victims and families of these tragic crimes.
So we learned new terms last year. So I didn't know that the terms "the Boulevard." That was not something that I really knew about. There's several of them. So some of the police lingo, I guess that would be.
Yeah, like I said, you dive just as deep into these investigations as the detectives did. They take you through everything from the initial response to search warrants, the investigation, every breadcrumb that they followed, you will experience all the way up until the end.
And it's not actors doing this.
No, they're the real detectives that work the actual crimes. They get up there on stage and they walk you through it.
And the funny part is you even hear, they go through it in such a way that you even have the detectives' nicknames and their pet names. And I don't remember, they used the name for there was a large man last year. And I guess he had some foot problems or something. I don't remember the exact name they used for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that name is either. But like I said, you
get it all.
You are enveloped into the world of those detectives. Their lives. You are brought into that to show how we resolve these tragic crimes.
You get a different perspective, because it's not the TV version. There's no commercials. You hear about how many days some of these detectives are working, where they almost go home and change clothes. It sounds like that they're just working 24/7.
Yes, there is a lot of truth to that. When these tragic things happen, the Anaheim Police Department does a phenomenal job of bringing all these resources together and hit the ground running to make sure that we essentially capture the bad guy and bring some justice to the families.
So last year was we found out you can't carry your cell phone when you're going in and doing crimes. And I guess last year also, it wasn't a good idea to have an ankle bracelet on.
That's a clue. That's a clue for us that you might be somebody we want to look at.
So that was the last year. A couple of years ago, it was, if you remember, if you're in the Orange County area, it was the person, they actually caught the guy right about, I don't know, maybe 2 miles from where I'm sitting at the Carl's Jr. It was he was killing homeless people, I think.
Yes, the homeless serial killer. He right up there, just a couple miles away. He stabbed some poor homeless guy just in the drive-through of the Carl's Jr. and fortunately we nabbed him just a short block away.
And it was amazing listening to some of the clues that they got and some of the things that you just wonder how the minds of some of these criminals. You just wonder about them, but you get to deal with that every day. Anaheim Confidential. It's coming up October 14th. You can go to eventbrite.com and get tickets. We're going to talk. It's 4 to 7 p.m. is food and beverages. The program is from 7 to 9 p.m. There's a silent auction. You can make donations. You can. It's just a great time, and it's been growing. We're going to talk more with Sgt Bob Conklin when we come back. Anaheim Confidential, October 14th. We're also going to talk about Grant Cardone and why, maybe some of his numbers just don't add up. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by the National Institute of Financial Education. I love going out there and just talking about financial education because unfortunately it's not being discussed many places anymore. The schools don't teach it anymore. Although we are looking at doing some things with one of the schools locally on some STEM projects, starting to teach science and English and mathematics and the things that are really important in our world. But and I should mention also, if you've got a business, 25 or more people, if you work for it or run it, we'll come in and do lunch and learns, absolutely no cost to the company on doing some of these, some of the different types of financial education that's out there. I had a quiz I just did, or a raffle or trivia question, I don't know what you want to call it, at one of the professional groups I was at last week. And I threw out there, how long does it take to pay off half of a 30-year loan? How long does it take to pay off half a 30-year loan, 30-year amortizing loan? And, you know, we put in the criteria as a $900,000 property, $720,000 loan, which means half of the loan is $360,000. How long does it take to pay off half of it? Well, it's about 20 and a half years to pay off half of a 30-year loan. People don't understand how the amortization tables work. Nerds like me understand that, but you know, you may want to know what happens if you paid an extra, half a payment every month. What happens if you pay just $200 extra a month? How much sooner could you have your property paid off if you want to? Subject today I'm going to get into Grant Cardone. Now, if you don't know Grant Cardone, he's a massive influencer on social media, makes millions and millions of dollars a year. I don't know, flies around the country in his own private jet, has houses all over, self-made millionaire, might even be up on the billion list now. And he comes out they report on CNBC. This is done August 11th, CNBC, August 11th, 2022, that he says, don't buy a home unless you can afford to waste money. Really? And he buys hundreds and hundreds. He's got, I think, 1,000 different organizations where he has all these different rentals. And the comment was, I love investing in real estate. It's a major reason why I was able to become self-made millionaire, but I've learned that buying a single-family home to live in isn't always a great investment. He realized in 2003 when I was a newlywed with a newborn and bought my dream home in Los Angeles, but as time went by, I wasn't seeing a return on the money or time I put into my house. So I sold it and used the equity to purchase a few rental properties. Then my family became renters again. I wonder what the rent cost him. Don't get me wrong, I still support home ownership. Today I own 3 homes, 2 of which I rent out, and the third is my primary residence. But at the end of the day, for many people, owning a home takes money out of their pockets. Here's why I believe buying a house is not a wise investment, especially right now with rising inflation and high home prices. Number one, he says, cost eats up profits. And I'm just going to use the exact numbers he has. I'll throw in some commentary here. But he says, you bought a home for $100,000, put $5,000 down payment. 10 years later, you sell the home for $200,000. That's pretty low return right there when you think about it, especially if you're talking about Southern California. I look up and I tell you about the real estate report card just for Orange County, California. Orange County, California. Let me get the number in here. I'll put it up real quick. I want to, if my screen will work real quick, I'm going to tell you real quick what the appreciation is in Orange County, California right now, or what's more important, over the last 63 years, 5.39%. Over the last 10 years, which is what he was using, 6.72%. So, Mike, when you put in the compounding, his numbers might be just a little bit light. 10 years interest, 6% each year, $60,000. 10 years of property taxes, we pay less than 2% a year, but he says $20,000. Real estate fees of 6%. Total cost before maintenance, $86,000. So you made $14,000 over that 10 years, 1.4% per year. A good general rule to keep in mind is that you'll spend about 1% of your home's purchase price on maintenance. Okay. Tip, don't buy a house expecting to make a profit. Instead, only buy when you have enough income, whether it's passive or active, to fund the cost of mortgage, property taxes, and upkeep. Okay, I got it, Mr. Cardone, but you missed one thing. If it's not a good idea to do that to make nothing or make $14,000, you forgot the idea that some of us, not everybody, but some of us want to have a roof over our head. And if we want to have a roof over our head, we either have to pay a mortgage or we have to pay rent. So if I can get my rent covered or my cost of the roof over my head covered and still make a profit without having to come out of pocket with money, well, I just shared with you a couple neighborhoods that are $5,000 a month. I think in Anaheim, we're looking at right around $3,000. Orange County, I think a 2-bedroom in Orange County according to the Apartment Owners Association is about $2,900 a month. So let's see, that would work out to about $36,000 a year, 10 years. That's $360,000 that I didn't have to come out of pocket with. You forgot that part, Mr. Cardone. Number two, no cash flow makes you dependent on the market. True real estate investment provides you with monthly passive income or cash flow after all the mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance. I get it. When your home doesn't provide monthly cash flow, well, if it's paying the mortgage and you have a roof over your head, there are some people that like to live out on the streets. I'm not one of them. Number three, limited tax benefits compared to commercial real estate. We're going back to the same thing again. Yeah, you can have commercial real estate and there are more benefits on the tax side. But again, I still have to have a place to live, a place to put my family. So when is it a good time to buy a home, according to him? When you can waste money. Just figure that out. You gotta read and understand where you get your advice matters. That's all I'm going to say is where you get your advice matters. CNBC sharing the information from Grant Cardone. Tell me where I'm missing it. Put the comments right there. You've got the opportunity to put comments right there for us. If I missed something, because Cardone says you're going to break even, maybe make a little bit of money, but you got to have a roof over your head, or you should. That's the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by the National Institute on Financial Education. We're going to continue our conversation chatting about one of the best events of the year. And I go to a lot of different events all year long, and one of them that we really look forward to is Anaheim Confidential. And to me, it's a combination. I mean, I like the presentation. With bad knees, sometimes I end up getting up and stretching and maybe even walking out a little bit early. But what's more important to me is the work that the organization does. Right? The presentation, Bob, to me, the presentation is fun. That's all good and wonderful. What you guys are doing with all these young people, that's really, the presentation is kind of like the cherry on top. Right?
Well, I mean, the presentation is, again, it satisfies several goals for us, but ultimately this fundraiser is for the kids to be able to maintain those programs.
It might even be hopefully, if you're successful enough with the organization, it's kind of might diminish the need for police officers. right?
So
if you-
long term, right?
that's the idea, right?
There is a selfish motivation here. Is if we get these kids on the right track and we can get these kids to influence their social circles and keep them on the right track and keep them from making bad decisions, then there is a selfish component. Then these folks, these teenagers, young adults, don't become the police department's problem down the road.
That's
And
the idea,
essentially, right? That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So they become the advocates out there, and they're going with maybe positive peer pressure.
Yeah, and you don't, like I said, the community as a whole, the Anaheim community has been phenomenal, through everything the last couple of years. Very supportive, but there's always the need for dialogue. And these teenagers about to be adults, college students, jumping into that liberal realm, we offer the opportunity to open up that communication with them, so they step into the adult world, into that college environment, already with a platform of what it looks like from our vantage point, from the community vantage point, before they step in there.
I think that's great, because the more you can get the kids involved. And are there organizations like Anaheim's Cop for Kids? Is that a national organization, or is it just a one-off? Anaheim's the only place that has a group like this, or do you even know that?
There are actually police departments nationwide that reach out to us to model exactly what we are doing. So a lot of agencies throughout Orange County, throughout the country, have Explorer programs. But Cops for Kids is unique in that we try to build relationships with other nonprofits to support the success of kids down the road.
It's great the way that goes. In fact, I hear that a lot, because Anaheim does a lot of different things that are modeled for other communities, and it's kind of nice to see how that it gives us a sense of pride for our area.
100%. We look for best practices. We look for the best way to do things, both fiscally and just socially responsible. We don't want to waste our time or our resources, to do things that don't work. Cops for Kids works.
Love that idea, and it's a great organization. It's a great event. One of the things that I want to share, because it's my show and I get to, is I like the idea of doing any of these things. A combination. Cops for Kids brings out two things that I think are important. Number one, it's one of the things that the police officers are demonstrating. Something, a lot of this crap that's in the media and the news, it's just crap, right? I mean, I would say that I know a lot of police officers. I do a lot of different fundraisers and functions. We even created our own program, rsrhero.com, where we have different incentives and giveaways for the heroes, police officers, firefighters, and veterans and teachers. But it goes out and shows the area that we need our police officers. We need they need the community. We need them. They've got to be there. We've got to support the police officers. And if we can get these young people out there showing, leading the way, maybe we can get some of the old people to shut up and realize that, something, it's a great organization. They're out there doing great things. They're doing, every police officer I know has the same exact mission every day, is to get home. Right?
Of course. Yes.
And think about how many people run when they hear problems, and then you've got the police community that runs toward these problems. Yet we got a bunch of big mouths on the radio and on TV that don't ever show that part of what the great work that the men and women in law enforcement are doing. Now there's, I'm sure there's some at the upper echelons. We saw what the FBI did, and most of us, don't understand it yet because they don't tell us, right? And don't believe in what they're doing at the upper level. But the men and women out on the streets, 99.9% of the time, we need to be standing up for them, because when we don't want to or can't, they're standing up for us. So just remember that part. Cops for Kids, in the Anaheim Confidential, October 14th, $45 per ticket. It's a food and drinks from 4 to 7. Program is 7 to 9. Go to eventbrite.com, eventbrite.com. And it's at, I didn't even say, it's at the river.
Yeah, the River Arena.
River Arena, there it is.
Downtown Anaheim.
Downtown Anaheim.
And that's $45 per ticket. You buy the ticket, you put your wallet or purse away when you get there. So it's all inclusive.
Absolutely. But you do have some great silent auction items.
Yes, silent auction items. Yeah.
And if you want to give them more than 45, feel free. That's not a problem, right?
No, donation bowl.
Donation bowl. Great information. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate, the event that you're doing. I know is a lot of work because I've done events, but more importantly, the work that you're doing with these kids, that's a debt of gratitude goes out to you and your colleagues that are doing this, because I know that it's not you guys volunteer for this work, right? It's not something that you're forced to be doing. It's not a job assignment.
Right. And these kids, they grow on you really quick. I wasn't expecting to do it for very long, but they grow on you. So I've been committed to it for a few years now. Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thanks
Thank you,
Ron.
Ron.
For all that you do. As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.